Good morning. Welcome to Superstar Secrets of the Super Successful Agent. And this morning we have Missy Lord on the call today with us. She's from Lansing, Michigan. And Missy, I wanted to introduce you and also talk to them about how long you've been in the business and how it all started.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Betty. I appreciate that. I have been in real estate 6 years, and I think 3.5 years full time. My first few years, I was doing it part time, and before that, I came from the corporate world, 18 years in the corporate world. So I'm loving my real estate life now.
Wow. So I know on one of our coaching calls, in fact, today on our coaching call, you were talking about how you sort of visualized your real estate career.
Yeah, I did. So
Tell me more about it.
yeah, I think when I was in working for the corporation, which I had an amazing time with, I just really started wanting to be with my family more, take my kids to school, pick them up. That was my main motivator, is to just have something as simple as taking my kids to school. But working for another company, you have to be there, yeah, at a certain time, and although I was in sales, it was still kind of strict. So I used to just think about, life would be like if I could just, take my kids to school in the morning and then come home, work out, focus on myself, and then just have a cup of coffee. My vision that I always had was sitting in front of this computer right here, sipping on coffee, and just like gradually getting into my day instead of like running around like a crazy person, making my kids go quick to try to get to daycare and, all that stuff. And I just used to think about that every single day for a long time. My sister even got me a coffee mug because I told her about it. Got me a coffee mug with my initial, which I still use.
Well,
Um,
it's sort of like that now, but not really, right? Not so totally.
no, actually it is. So I can't, so I have been able to take, well, this with COVID stuff, it's changed it up, but I was able to take my kids to school and pick them up, and I was able to arrange my schedule around them, even though I was crazy busy. But I still am able to, if I can, squeeze in a workout later, because I'm not a morning person. But it's definitely been that envision, that visioning really helped me. So
Well, I want you to talk about, I guess, the last 3 years, your production numbers, because they are unbelievable, really.
yes, yes. So I guess, once I started full time, my first few years in real estate was learning the process, figuring out what I was doing while I was working a full-time job. So that in itself was a lot. And my business got so much in that second year for real estate that I ended up having to make a decision, because I was staying up till 1, 2 in the morning trying to focus on the real estate business. So I eventually went full time, and the last 3 years of my business, I should have my numbers memorized, but I'm just going to throw out some random numbers that are pretty close. Last year, of course, I did 98 transactions. The previous year, I think I was at like 65. And then the previous was in the 50s. So last year really was a huge increase from my
Inner year.
previous
And
year.
didn't you win something like third in the state, or what did you win?
Yeah, yep. So third, Remax, yeah, I was number 5 out of 1,100 realtors here in Lansing when it comes to sales volume, 1,100 plus agents. And then for Remax in Michigan, I was number 3 overall in total commission earned.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Congratulations. So
thank
I,
you.
I know we work on, it's not all smooth sailing to make that kind of money. And everybody knows, how did you do it? 100 deals, good grief. Do you have anybody to help you? How did you do 100 deals by yourself? I know that you have somebody to help you. Talk about that process, from going as a single agent with doing everything yourself to bringing somebody on, and where we are today with that process.
Yeah, that's a good question, because if you think about the jump I made in number of transactions, I hired my assistant. She works 35 hours a week, and last year in 2020 was the first year she was with me the whole year. And, having an assistant has made such a big difference in my career because I was able to focus on my clients and not so much on clients and paperwork and closing documents and all of that. So
Mhm.
that's made a huge difference in my real estate career, is just having that help where I can focus just on my business. And
But
it's
it
been
wasn't
great.
easy. It wasn't like all of a sudden you were at a level and you said, I'm going to hire somebody. You had to go through a process, right?
Yes. So, and I definitely attribute that to you, Betty, for having a coach is so nice because it's one of those things. I think a lot of real estate agents and just in business in general, you always have these ideas going around in your head. Oh, I wonder what it would be like if I had an assistant, or what if I did this? Having a coach, makes you sit down and think about those things, write down the pros and cons, and then either make a decision to do it or make a decision not to do it. And I definitely say that you played a huge role in making me finally decide to do it, because you always question, oh my gosh, what if I don't do this much business? What if my year isn't that good? You always second guess yourself. So I'm so happy that I ended up doing it, and it's we've been a great working pair together. So it's
Yeah,
made.
yeah. So true. But I couldn't even fathom, I couldn't even imagine doing 100 deals by yourself. You know,
Yeah.
like that is a breed upon itself right there because
Yes.
it's not an easy thing. And I know that with your personality type and the disc profile, we've talked about that a lot. Um,
Mhm.
do you have a desire to build a big team?
I do not. No, I never have. Back in the corporate world, they would always ask me, you could be, top management someday and have a team. And I always respectfully said no, because I know that that's not where I've ever wanted to be. I do love mentoring people, but I just don't think that I was meant to be, a leader of this huge thing. I love making a difference in individual lives, which is what I'm doing with my real estate job
Mhm.
or my career. But that's just never been like my end goal, I guess. It's just my end goal has really been touching each life of the people I work with.
You
So
know, what's interesting is that you're probably one of the most profitable people that I've coached with because you don't have a big team. There are people that I coach that have big, big teams.
yes.
When you go to the bottom line, they spend a lot of money with their staff and with building the team and with buying leads. So you're quite profitable. Is that part of the reason you want to stay like this, or are there other reasons?
Well, being profitable is great, but I don't think that's the reason why I don't want to do it. It's just one of those things that I just have never really wanted to, do a lot of things.
Well, I was thinking, just as you were talking and just knowing you so well, and you're so in tune to people's needs. And like if you do 100 deals, it's kind of hard to juggle all that. And I know that's probably your reason for growth is
Yeah.
you want to continue the level of service that you always have given, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, I remember last year in 2020, at one time we had probably 23 or 25 pending deals we had going on, plus all of the other current buyers and listings. And it was really tricky, and trying to have a team to teach and train and going, teaching them how to do everything. I literally don't think I could have done that back then. So that is definitely one of the things, one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to do a team. Um, but yeah.
what your goals for the future are and your whys. And I know how important your family is and your private time. Like there's some people that love to work. I coach a lady, she said, I don't want any free time. You know, that's not you though, right?
No, no. I mean, I'm not complaining because I had such a great year. Over the last few years have been amazing. But I definitely sacrificed so much time last year with my family. So I have goals of having, similar business, but being able to spend a lot more time with them and doing And even, with my mom or my sister and things I used to do, I had like no social life whatsoever last year, which most of us didn't anyway because of COVID. But if COVID hadn't happened, I would never have probably seen a lot of my friends and family because I was literally working all the time. So there's got to be some sort of balance and a work-life balance. I don't think there is such a thing, but I'm continually working toward whatever that looks like in the future. So that's one of my goals, is to figure out how to do that.
And I know we've talked about year goals, and your goal for this coming year is about the same production, but having a little bit more free time and having it more dialed in organizational wise.
Yeah.
And we talked about long-term goals too. But let's talk something we've never talked about. 10 years down the road, are you
Yeah.
retired or how does it look?
Well, I would love to be retired in 10 years. I mean, one of the things I love about my job now is being able to build relationships with people who I never would have in the past. I was just thinking about that. I was sitting at a kitchen table with someone, a new listing client, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this lady is like so nice and amazing. Like we could be friends. She was unfortunately moving out of state, but I just love my job because I meet so many new people. So I say I would love to be retired in 10 years, but at the same time, I really love working with people. So maybe, have a very small group of people that are working under me, and being able to still work with my clients, but have much more free time. I think in 10 years would be the ideal situation for me, because then I can still be building relationships and helping people, but at the same time, being able to enjoy things that people, I guess, like to do.
Indeed. So if you
Yeah.
get the hard client, sorry, not me, right?
Right. Yeah. No, those are actually challenging. I mean, it kind of reminds me back in my corporate days. I mean, I worked with auto dealers and business owners, CEOs, like lots of strong personalities. And I think that taught me a lot about how to handle a lot of different types of personalities. So difficult clients are not that difficult for me. I look at it as more of like a challenge, makes it kind of fun.
That I was just getting my next question, and it made me think about this is my next question was, how can you do 100 deals and somebody else does 5 deals? What is so special to help you do the 100 deals? And I was thinking that you are so versatile. I know that we talk about the disc profile and you are so good with the driver, you're so good with the analytical, you're good, you can go wherever the person is.
Hmm.
And that's one of your strong points,
I
right?
think that's one of the strengths of anyone who's good in sales, is being able to adapt. You don't adapt because I'm really authentic with everyone, like my clients and my friends and my and coaches, whatever. But being able to adapt to whoever you're working with, I
Mhm.
think is a really strong personality style. I think the other thing too is, I wrote it down, um, in one of the benefits to having a solid established business now is I'm not worried so much about income. I am so focused on my clients. Like
I
when
love
I
that.
meet with someone, like I do not think about my commission ever. And I mean, maybe in the beginning I probably did. But now it's 100% focused on, okay, what do I need to do to get this house sold? What are the steps? Like, and I 100% thinking of it from their perspective. And when we go to close, I think about, okay, they need to get, like, if my seller's not there or my buyer's not there, it's like, how do I get them the check? Like my commission check is like an afterthought. And I think that a lot of, if real estate agents and businesses in general could think of it 100% based on the customer and not themselves,
I love
they
that.
would just be
Love
like
it.
so much
Yeah.
more better off in their business.
I started early on in my career working with Tom Ferry's dad, Mike Ferry, and he always said his motto was like, don't be attached to the outcome.
Yes.
And so like even and so that has been my motto as well, is like sometimes you lose a commission because it's not in the best interest of the person, and when something falls apart, you're not devastated, you're like understanding where they're coming from and how to help them go the other way, right?
Exactly. Yep. It's one of the benefits of having someone that's truly there for you and not just there for a commission. And because
Well,
I
there's
think
more
people can
to it,
completely
Missy. There's more to it than being such a great person and integrity and all of that. There's more to it. You can't just, how come nobody else can do 100 deals when they try to do it? Well, you must have known all the people in your town. You must have some kind of secret.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the biggest difference, like when you talk about 5 deals versus 100, like I have been my whole life so goals oriented. My dad always taught me about, thinking positively and making goals. And um, my whole life I have. I mean, my dad told me in 7th grade if I could get a full ride scholarship to play basketball, he'll buy me a new car. So I did. I got a full ride scholarship to play college basketball Division 1, and he bought me a new car. So like my whole life has been goal oriented. I think that goals are so important to have when you are in real estate or in business in general, because you don't know where you're going if you don't have a specific goal.
But you're not that competitive, are you?
Are you kidding? Oh my God. Ask my husband. I am probably one of the most competitive people he's heard. No, I am super competitive.
Yeah.
And not just with other people, a lot for myself. I look at what did I do last year? How can I do better this year? And that having that competitive drive really.
So are you competitive with others? Like, do you want to be number one?
Well, I do. I mean, I do like to see, where I'm at compared to everyone else, but it's more of like for myself, not like to beat other people. It's because, back way before I was even in real estate, I was like, thinking about what would it be like to be the number one, because we have a number one agent here in the Lansing area that's been number one forever, and I always think to myself, what would it be like to be number one? Like what would I need to do? It's a challenge, I guess, more for me. And to see the results of my work is the reward I get, not that I'm beating other people, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I just noticed this about you too. I've known this before, but even this morning you showed me your vision board. Like you're always thinking in pictures. And like you talked about at the beginning of the interview, you imagined yourself drinking coffee there.
Yes.
Visualization is super important, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. That's when I talk about goals, and maybe that's, when we were talking earlier about my goals still being kind of scrambled in my mind, even though I wrote them down. I do, for me, like I have to write them down and have pictures on a vision board, because otherwise, I don't know if it's my brain or whatever, but that just really helps me solidify what's important for this year, and basically focus everything toward that, which everybody gets off track. I get off track, I forget, but having that visual reminder is, I think, super important.
I love that. So talk to me, any negativity in your life? Like, if you have a negative, how do you handle negative emotions?
For myself or my clients?
Yourself, but you can take it into your clients.
I think so. I am definitely like a glass half full person. Um, I Anything that comes up that what I would consider negative, I always spin it into how can I, and this is subconscious, like I don't think about, oh, I have to spin this to be positive. I find myself always thinking like, like yesterday I had a deal fall apart, and I was feeling bad for the seller, like, oh gosh, but as soon as I let myself feel bad for like 2 seconds, and then I was on to, okay, what's my plan to get them, back on the market? And like, when I talked to them, I said, okay, try to stay positive with me, because it's so important, I think, to have be mindful of being positive about everything, because things just snowball into better and better things when you think
That's
that
giving me
way.
chills. I love that. I love it. Because I
Yeah.
have a lot of clients that spiral right into the negativity. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a big difference to be positive, for sure.
And I love it that you told your client that.
I do, because I'm very big, if I had a theme, it would be good vibes, because I really truly believe in good energy and good vibes. And sometimes I can tell if I have a client that's like very negative thinking about things,
Mhm.
it makes a difference in the transaction. So I try to help them along with that. And I know it sounds weird, but um, it does make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Any advice to anybody beginning real estate? Any lead source advice? I think a lot of your business comes from past clients and connections. Any advice?
Yes. So first starting out, the only thing you have when you first start out is your family and friends. So I highly recommend that somebody, reach out to everybody and let them know, hey, I'm a real estate agent and I can handle whatever. Let them know over and over and over again. And then not in the same way, but um I've seen a lot of if I was new today, I would be on Facebook right now and I would ask other agents who do a lot of listings, I would ask them, can I market your listing on Facebook? And usually they're like, yes, why wouldn't they want to? It's like more
Right,
exposure.
right.
So you're constantly advertising other agents' listings and sponsor it. Do $10 or $20 ad on Facebook, and you get more and more people reaching out to you, asking you questions, and you just start that conversation. And you can build a whole business that way. That's well, one of the agents here in Michigan has been doing that and seeing a lot of success. And I do it sometimes with my listings. Well, you might get someone who's not even in the market yet, and it might be a longer term client, but it's just a easy, cheap way of getting new clients.
And there's your mind, your positive mind working again. So I have agents that start coaching with me with no business and they're in
Mhm.
negative spiral, oh, woe is me. But you're always thinking of ways that
Mm.
whatever your situation is, ways to make it positive.
I think that if somebody, because a lot of people have that, like you said, woe is me. I'm not like her. I don't have this. I didn't go to college, whatever. But you just, if you think positively and if you think positively about it and say, I can do it, then you can usually do it. So,
I love it, love it, love it. Has anything changed for you in the way you do business this year on with COVID?
well, last year, well,
Yeah.
last year, yes. I mean, we did from April until I don't remember, July. We were doing most of our things virtually. So luckily, I knew how to do Zoom and we were having a lot of fun actually. Like we're having a lot of fun having the seller walk us around with their phone, with the buyer and the two agents. I did that so many times and actually it was so much fun because sometimes the sellers didn't know how to do a do their camera and we were all laughing and just gotta like go with the flow because it's such a crazy year. And so I think a lot of virtual showings and kind of stopped doing open houses, trying to learn new technology to now that so many more people are working from home and not wanting to see houses, make it easier for people to see my listings. And that's what I've been working a lot on this year is new technology to make my listing stand out a little bit more. So,
Well, I'm so excited to send this interview to every one of my clients. It's been inspirational for me, really, too.
oh,
Thank
thank you.
you. So, what have I not asked you that you wanted to tell us?
Oh, geez. I just think, if for real estate in general, like I feel like everybody just needs to be themselves and authentic. And, especially if you're new, um, you don't need to be different or like, you don't need to know how to cold call. You just need to know how to like have a conversation with someone and be authentic.
Love it.
There's
Yeah,
10 in my opinion, there's 10 different ways to call a for sale by owner. I know there's scripts and things like that. But if you're using a script and it doesn't seem authentic to you, then you're not going to sound authentic to the person.
yeah,
So my biggest advice is just be authentic to everyone. So,
exactly. I know I
yeah.
had a client, she said, I'm always doing videos. And she said, and somebody came up to me, she said, you're just like your videos. She said,
Yeah.
that's just me, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. I really, really appreciate it. And
Yeah, I appreciate you as my coach. You've made a really big difference in my
oh, thank you,
life and
sweetie.
my career. So
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
yeah. Thanks so much. I'll
Yeah.
see you soon. Okay. Thanks. Bye bye.